Hello everyone. In today's class, in the previous lecture of Newton's laws of motion, I was actually about to start constraint relations, and I have told you how constraint relations will simplify your calculations. Okay, so in today's class we will start with that constraint relations basic idea. So let me actually explain the basic ideas first, and then I will go into greater details. So now for example, okay, so first I will keep the heading as constraint relations. Okay, so now if you what it will do, I will tell you first. Okay, mainly in your constraint relations you have two types of constraint relations. Okay, one is called as pulley constraints and second type is wedge constraints. Okay, pulley constraints and wedge constraints. Okay, right? So two types of constraint relations you have. Okay, so actually if you look at the meaning of constrained in English, okay, so it indirectly indicates that there is some restriction. Okay, constrained in the sense, okay, so like if we have vehicles, our vehicles are constrained to move on the road. Okay, so you cannot our vehicles or bike or cycle, whatever you take, it is constrained to move on the road means it will go on the road only. Okay, it will not go on air or water, right? Aeroplane is constrained to move on land as well as air. Okay, so constrained means there is some condition indirectly. Okay, so the meaning of word constrained is condition. Conditions are there. Okay, so you will have conditions. So now whenever in Newton's laws of motion you are doing, okay, the problems that you have will have two types of constraint, two types of conditions which involve either pulley or wedge. Okay, you will either have pulley or wedge. So first we will see pulley. Okay, and we will utilize these constraint relations to solve the Newton's laws of motion problem. Okay, so I will upload constraint relations and wedge constraints and pulley constraints lectures separately, but just to solve HC Verma or basic books, okay, I will only in today's class basic constraint relations only will be seeing it. I will give you a shortcut method, that is enough. And to solve for advanced level preparation and higher level questions, separate video lecture will be uploaded. As time keeps going, I will collect different questions from different books and then I will gather and I will upload one more video. Okay, so now first if you look at the constraint relations, as I told you, it is conditions. So those conditions in your JEE syllabus will mainly either involve pulley or wedge. Okay, so now for pulley example, if you take, okay, if you have a figure like this for example, okay, which consists of some block of mass m1, attached to this there is one more pulley, attached to this there is one more pulley, let us say like this, and attached to this there is one more pulley for example, and let us say you have m3, let us say you have m1 like this. Now if you just simply look at this figure, if I say m1 is heavy, you do not know whether m1 will come down or m2 it goes up or down, you will not have any idea. But if you understand constraint relations, you can give relation between, okay, what is the target is ultimately you have to give relation between displacements x1, x2, if this is some x2, x3, you have to give relations between v1, v2, v3, acceleration A1, A2, A3. Okay, you have to relate the displacements, velocities, accelerations from constraint relations. Okay, right? That is your ultimate target. Okay, your target is give relation between. Okay, your target is to give relation between these. Now here what is the condition means, if you have a single thread, this thread if it comes down by x, automatically whatever point that is attached to this thread also is supposed to move in the same way. Okay, so that is one of the conditions. Okay, like this you will have conditions, don't worry, but for now understand that constraint relation means there will be conditions. What is the condition means? Okay, this string will have some properties. What are those properties? I will let you know, don't worry, but understand that there are some conditions. Next, your second type of condition is wedge constraints. Okay, so wedge constraints will have, okay, your wedge constraints will have, if you take for example a rod like this and its mass is m1, attached to this there is some one more mass m2 like this. Okay, and let us say I am keeping a wall here and here so that this will not move. Now this is your rod, this is your wedge. Okay, so now if you have a fixed support here, what will happen? This block of mass m, it is allowed only to move downwards. This block of mass m2 is allowed only to move horizontal, because on the ground, if you have your ground here, okay, this wedge cannot fly in any other direction. So it is constrained. This rod is constrained only to move along y direction. This wedge is constrained only to move along x direction like this. And similarly, if you take for example a block and wedge, this its mass is small m and if its mass is capital M like this. Now if the block is coming downwards this way, now this wedge will start moving in the horizontal direction. So this block is constrained to move on the wedge here. Okay, so constraint relations means it is allowed to move, or bodies are allowed to move under certain conditions. Okay, so if pulleys are involved, the question belongs to pulley constraints. If wedges are involved, the question belongs to wedge constraints. Okay, constrained means there is some condition, there are some limitations. Okay, so it is not allowed or it is not supposed to move as it wishes. Okay, it will go according to that particular scenario. Okay, so try to understand that conditions are nothing, conditions or limitations is nothing but your constrained motion. Okay, right? So under certain limitations your motion is allowed. Okay, that is your constraint relation ultimate target. Okay, now in constraint relations, this is your target ultimately, to relate displacements, to relate velocities, to relate accelerations. If one body moves by x, how much the other body moves? If this comes down by y, in the x direction, how much is the displacement of wedge? These are your conditions like this. Okay, to relate accelerations, to relate velocities, to relate displacements. These are your conditions that you have in constraint relations. Okay, so now in this Newton's laws of motion chapter, what are the pending topics means pulley constraints and wedge constraints related questions are only pending. Apart from that, entire chapter is done. Okay, now what is that I am going to do is I am going to discuss in today's class pulley constraints in detail. Okay, I will give you a shortcut method, but I will not stop at this point. I will elaborate a lot more. I will explain. Okay, but simple conditions and simple cases just to solve enough content for HC Verma alone will be discussed in this lecture, because drawing diagrams for questions will kill lot of my time. So I'll do a separate screen recording thing so that I can directly take images of questions wherever possible. If not, doing it on the tab is easier rather than doing it on the board, because 10 pulleys if I draw, okay, obviously my diagram will go wrong and somewhere I have to keep redrawing again. So it is a bad thing. Instead I will do it on the tab. Okay, so now today's class we will start with pulley constraints. Okay, so you can keep the heading as pulley constraints. Okay, so what is this pulley constraint condition? I will explain. So our heading is pulley constraints. Okay, now what is the pulley constraint? Key idea that I want you to remember is, okay, for pulley constraints, key idea, okay, I am keeping a separate heading. What is this key idea? I will tell you. Okay, for most of the questions, what is your key idea is, okay, if you take a string like this, okay, this is a string or rope or thread, okay, string or rope or thread, okay, right? So if you have a string or rope or thread like this, okay, this string or rope or thread, what it will have, let me show you. If some point 1 if you take here, some point 2 if you take here, okay, what is that I am doing? I am taking on a string, okay, I am on a string, I am taking, okay, on a string I am taking 2 points, okay. If I take 2 points 1 and 2 like this, at this point, for this point, if velocity is v1, okay, and this angle if it is theta 1, okay, what is this? What is v1? v1 is velocity of point 1, okay. I have a string or rope or thread and on that I am taking a point. Next, if I take one more point somewhere here with velocity v2 and angle theta 2, okay, if I take one more point with velocity v2 and angle theta 2, okay, what will your pulley constraint say is, what is the key idea is, okay, if you take these components along the length of the string, okay, so that is your v1 cos theta 1 should be equal to v2 cos theta 2, okay, okay, your component of velocities of those points connected to the string along the length of the string should be equal, okay. So I will write that, okay, the components of velocities, the components of velocities along the length of the string, along the length of the string are supposed to be equal, are supposed to be equal, okay, they are supposed to be equal, okay. Now why are they supposed to be equal? I will tell you, okay. So if you take this v1 cos theta 1 component this way, okay, or parallel component I will write, and this is v2 parallel and this is v1 parallel, okay. So what is v2 parallel means? It is v2 cos theta 2. What is v1 parallel means? It is v1 cos theta 1, okay. So why these are supposed to be equal means, okay, if string is inextensible, okay, if string is inextensible, now what is this length? If I assume this as, if this length is L, okay, between these 2 points if length is L, what will remain constant? Length is supposed to remain constant. Now if components of velocities, if this and this are not equal, obviously what happens? Along the length of the string L will change, right? If two bodies which are moving, okay, if you have body A and body B which are at some distance d, now for this distance d to remain constant, what is supposed to be there? Both must have your VA and VB to be equal. Along the line joining these 2 points, if they are equal, then only they will cover equal distances. So that finally also if it comes to some A dash, if it comes to some B dash, once again your distance will remain constant. So according to that, okay, I hope you are getting my point, okay, according to that condition, Okay, so your velocity components along the length of the string are supposed to be equal. So that means your v1 cos theta 1 is equal to v2 cos theta 2. Okay, reason why means, okay, reason why it is means, okay, the distance between the points of inextensible string, distance between the points of inextensible string, okay, distance between points of inextensible string is supposed to be constant. Okay, it is supposed to be constant. Okay, to make it constant, okay, is supposed to be constant. So to make it constant, this velocities will be equal this way. Okay, hope you have understood what I have explained, and you have to be very clear, trust me. Okay, you have to be very clear in this idea, and please do not skip anything. Okay, if you do not follow something, just let me know. I will try to re-explain. Wherever elaboration is required, I will do it. Okay, so let me get the book and do some basic questions. Where is the book? So we'll start with basic questions first, and then we'll go to the advanced questions. So first let me check in which part. Some people will give these ideas in kinematics itself, some people will do it in a different chapter. Oh God, I don't see the questions at all. Right, hope you have copied it down. I am erasing this. All right. So what is your first question? I will tell you. There are two pulleys, okay, step by step from basic questions, okay. So you have a support like this. Don't worry, I'll upload a separate lecture. How much you practice, depending upon that you will learn the subject. You have a block of mass m. Different methods I will give to solve different questions. Same question can be solved in multiple methods as well. Okay. What is your question is, this is A, this is B. Okay. This moves with speed V downwards. This point also moves with speed A downwards like this. Okay. P and Q are fixed. Okay, this pulley is fixed and this pulley is also fixed. What is your question is, this is C, block is C. Okay, block is C. Find speed of mass m. Question is this: find speed of mass m. Give it a try. Okay, using the logic that I have explained. Okay, so along the length of the string, bodies will have same velocity. we will do simple questions using a simple method, then using differentiation also we can do this, but first basic questions I just want to introduce, that's all. Okay, however separate lecture will be uploaded, don't worry. Okay, so now did I give the angle as 45 degrees? No. Okay, in the question assume that this angle is theta. At this instant it is theta. Okay, now you try it. I don't take it as 90 or anything and try to give some root to something. Okay, don't give any such answer. Alright, so now what is the answer to this, I will tell you. If you take this string okay, this part is V. Okay, now if B moves upwards, or sorry, C, if C moves upwards with some V dash velocity, okay, what did I tell you? Velocity components along the length of the string will remain constant. So now component of V dash along this is how much means? It is V dash cos theta. V dash cos theta is velocity component and this value of velocity is V. So these two are supposed to be equal. V is equal to V dash cos theta. V dash is equal to V by cos theta. Okay, those who have done it correctly in the limited time that I have given, then you have learned something. Okay, else don't worry, because this is only just the beginning and this is a tough topic. Okay, it depends, more practice you do, you will do answers correctly. Okay, and if you if you are unable to do constraint relations, please don't get terrified, no issues at all. Okay, relax, keep watching the video again and again, then automatically you will be able to do the solution. Okay, right, next, your next question is, I am just picking basic questions from the book, that's all. Okay, one more method is there to solve this, that also I will discuss. Okay, using differentiation, that part later. Next question is, you have ceiling here, attached to this there is a pulley. Okay, always in this try to draw pulley first. Okay, don't draw string first and then attach a pulley, instead draw pulley first and then try to attach strings, or else drawing the diagram also will consume lot of time. Okay, and this is, there is a thread that is hanging this way, some M1 and M2, what is there? This is B. There are two blocks like this and fixed pulley. Okay, obviously this is a fixed pulley. What is your question is, if A moves with speed Vi equal to V, find Vb at an instant. Okay, at an instant the figure is given, at some instant this is the figure, Va is equal to V, angle alpha is also given, find Vb, okay, find Vb. Pulley is fixed, inextensible string. Okay, inextensible, if nothing is mentioned you have to consider inextensible string only. Okay, so I will talk about it next, don't worry, but if nothing is mentioned you have to consider massless inextensible string. Now what is the answer? If you try to do the same answer using maths, you need to give variables, you need to differentiate them, it will become lengthy, but this method is simple. Okay, come on, give it a try. Now this block, if it is coming downwards, if this is coming with V, your Va velocity is already along the length of the string. Now while this is coming this way, your Vb will move this way. right? While this is coming downwards, it will keep moving on the floor. Okay, don't think it will fly. This thing will fly provided when this next part I will talk of friction, everything. But now when normal reaction here becomes zero, when contact is lost, that means when your M2G is equal to some T, if tension is T times sine of some angle theta, here if thread is there T and theta, if T sin theta is equal to M2G, this N whatever you have, that will become equal to 0. So in that case it will get lifted. Okay, for particular T, particular theta, that will happen. Now don't worry about, don't think too much and try to, foundation will spoil lot of students. Okay, they will try to put some hybrid physics into this and they will complicate it. My question is very simple, that's all. Block B is, okay, if question is given like this, don't think why it will not fly and don't try to question the question, just simply take it as information, that's all. Okay, so now according to my relation, your VB component along the length of the string, don't resolve the string, give some velocity here and don't try to resolve it. Okay, body's motion you take, so VB cos alpha is the component. Okay, so the component of VB in this way is VB cos alpha. In this direction it is VB sin alpha. What is that you are supposed to equate? This is of not any use to us. VB cos alpha is equal to VA, but what is VA means V. So your VB is V by cos alpha. Okay, pretty simple. Don't please do not complicate the subject. Whatever information is given, please do take it as such and try to apply the basic scenarios. Okay, do not complicate things. I am being very clear and looks okay. Next, I am erasing this. I will give one more question. Please keep trying sincerely. You will struggle a lot later. Same questions can be done even from maths, but that part I will told you, I don't want to waste children's time in the start. Okay, if you are interested and preparing for JEE Advanced, my advice is follow the other method as well. Okay, which I will upload later separately, but please do not do that now. Okay, now making the subject simple is important. Next, your next question is, there is a rod like this fixed between two supports and there is a bead. Here you have a fixed support. This shading will indicate fixed support. Attached to this there is a pulley. There is a block of mass M. Okay, what is your question is, this angle is alpha, at an instant bead is moving with velocity V. Question is, find velocity of block at this instant. Find V block at this instant. Okay, so your answer is, okay, directly what will you do? This part anyhow it comes down. So if this is block, V block, if it is downwards, velocity component along this direction is V cos alpha. So your V block is supposed to be equal to V cos alpha. Okay, simple questions only I am discussing in today's class. Okay, later I will pick questions from different books and I will gather tough questions and I will upload that. Okay, else this much is enough. Next, your next question is, okay, this is your bead or ring. It is called as bead or ring. Okay, it is allowed freely to slide, frictionless. Okay, next, your next question is, today's class I am picking basic questions. I am not complicating things. Okay, your next part is, you have this is a block, it moves with velocity Vb this way. There is a bead, this angle is theta. This bead is heavy. Okay, so it is coming down with Va equal to V. What is your question is, find, fourth question, find Vb. What is Vb? Vb equal to how much? So what is that you are supposed to do? Bead is coming with Va equal to V, but what did I tell you? You have to resolve along the length of the string. So the component in this direction is, if this angle is theta, V cos theta is your component along the length of the string. This side you have the pulley, this side you have block B, this is your Vb. So velocity component along the length of the string. So your Va component along the length is V cos theta. So your answer is Vb equal to V cos theta. Okay. From maths, if you are doing it, you have to take a reference line, take some x, y, differentiate, it will get complicated. Okay. So first keep the things in a simple manner. Okay. Right. Next. Your next part is, yeah, this looks somewhat different. Yeah, this is enough. Okay, let's get back to the pulleys part. Basic questions, this is enough. From maths, you have to do certain questions. Everything I will explain, don't worry. But I don't want to waste children's time. So that is why I am going to explain certain basic things. Okay. Now, before I start, okay, first, okay, small information to remember. Okay, right? Point number 1. String is light or massless word if it is given. What is the conclusion that you will take? If you take a string or rope like this, if it is light or massless, okay, if it is having mass, what will happen? I will tell you. If you take some dm mass here, for example, if you are applying some force F, at this point if tension is some TA at point A, at some point B, this side if you have TA, this side if you have TB, for example, if you take this dm element, on this dm element, this side you have TA, this side you have some TB. Okay, I am taking some small elemental strip here, but to help you out I am making it big. So now if you apply some force, what will happen? TA minus TB will cause some mass into acceleration. So if mass is present, TA and TB are different. Okay, if mass is present, TA and TB are different. If it is massless, then this part will become 0. So you are going to get TA is equal to TB. So from this, what is the conclusion? Okay, tension remains constant. Tension remains same. Okay, tension remains same at every point of string. Tension remains same at every point of string. Tension remains same at every point of string. Okay, your tension will remain constant at every point of the string. Okay, right? Hope there are no doubts. All right, now I will continue further. Okay, hope there is no doubt. Copy this thing. All right, next point number 2. Massless means immediately it should strike your mind that it is light or massless word if it is used. Okay, tension is constant. Okay, at every point of the string and it is in pulling direction. Okay, next second point that I want you to remember is, okay, your second point is point number 2. If word inextensible is used, inextensible word if it is used, okay, what will happen is length is constant, no doubt, but I want you to remember this. If there is some block A here and block B here, this is if its length is L. Now if you have probably some wall and you are measuring this distance as XA, this distance as XB. Now if the string is inextensible, okay, so now what is your XB minus XA? Your XB minus XA is equal to L. This is going to remain constant. So you differentiate it with respect to time. Differentiating with respect to time, dxb by dt minus dxa by dt, that is equal to derivative of L is equal to 0. So Vb minus Va is equal to 0. So your velocity of B is equal to velocity of A. Okay, velocity of B is equal to velocity of A. You differentiate once again, you will get acceleration of B is equal to acceleration of A. Okay, now what is the conclusion or moral of the story is, if string is inextensible, okay, if string is inextensible, connected bodies, okay, if string is inextensible, connected bodies will have okay, same displacement, same velocity, same acceleration. Okay, all those bodies which are connected to that inextensible string will have same displacement, velocity and acceleration. Okay, please do copy it down. Okay, if the string is inextensible, remember this. Okay, all right, so I will erase it. Next, Now your heading is, next heading is how to interrelate, okay, how to interrelate, okay, how to interrelate displacements, velocities, accelerations. That is the next heading, okay. Now for this I will take a simple example and I will give you two methods to solve the same. So let us say you have the situation here. Alright, now let us say there is a pulley attached to this ceiling. Attached to this there is a block of mass m1. There is another block of mass m2, okay, different color, white color, okay, bottom one is white. How many threads are there? 2 threads, okay, 2 threads, one yellow color, one white color. Then let's make this as pink. Okay, now what is that I am trying to do here is, there are totally 2 strings. I am trying to relate displacements of m1 and m2, velocity of m1 and m2 and acceleration of m1 and m2. Indirectly find relation between, okay, v1 and v2 or a1 and a2, whatever you take, that is of your choice. But now 2 methods I will give you. First, basic maths approach, I will talk about it. Okay, so what is the basic maths approach? I will tell you. Now always in basic maths method, okay, what is that you are supposed to do is, you are supposed to take a reference line. Okay, you can take reference line from this point or you can do it from the ceiling itself. Okay, the reference line that you are going to take is actually called as datum. Okay, datum is nothing but your reference line. Okay, so I don't want to use fancy terms, I just keep my subject simple. So now let us say from here to here the displacement is x1. Okay, whatever distance that is actually going to change, you just keep it fixed. Getting my point? Whatever is going to remain variable, you use variables like x1, y1, something like that. Okay, and whatever is constant, you keep it as such. Now if you take this length as, for example, I will take it as some d1. Okay, next let us say this radius is r. Okay, hope everything is clearly visible. Displacement of pulley, I am taking it as xp. Displacement of block, I am taking it as x2. Okay, whatever is moving you have to take variable, whatever is constant you have to take constants. Okay, here if you look at this, obviously m1 will move up or down, this block m2 also, this pulley also will move because this pulley is not fixed. What is the difference between this pulley and this pulley? This pulley, this length will remain constant because this is a fixed surface. This shading indicates that it is fixed to the surface. Alright, hope you are understanding what I am explaining and there are no doubts. Alright, okay. So here you have x1 variable because this is moving. Here you have xp, that is your displacement of pulley. This pulley's radius is also r, let us say, or some r1 and r2. What is there? R1, R2. So xp, because this pulley is moving, I am considering this as xp. This block mass, it is m2, so this is x2. Okay. Now here, okay, right. So now if you take this yellow color part, okay, length of string will remain constant. Okay, two conditions. Length of string is constant. Okay, we'll utilize this idea to relate different things. I'll tell you. So I'll use this idea twice. First for yellow color string, then I'll do it for white color string. First yellow part. Okay, I will write it here. I am considering for yellow part. Yellow. Okay, so if I consider for yellow part, from here to here, should you take the length? No. Only this part is your length, this side, right? So how much is it? Means it is x1 minus d1. From here to here, this length plus pi r1 for semicircle, okay, half of this circle, semicircle, pi r1, okay, plus this length. How much is this length? xp minus d1. Okay, this length from here to here, it is xp minus d1 plus other side length, it is xp. This side from ceiling to this point, this length is xp. Okay, yeah, pi r2 is there, we forgot that. Pi r2 plus xp is equal to constant. Okay, right. Now if you differentiate it, derivative of this constant will become 0. I will differentiate with respect to time. Differentiating with respect to time. Okay, pi r1, pi r2 will cancel off. So derivative of this d1 will cancel off. Derivative of constant also will become 0. So what is that you finally get? x1, I mean dx1 by dt plus xp plus xp dxp by dt plus dxp by dt is equal to 0. Okay, I have just cancelled it off, but I should not do that. Okay, in the next step I have to suppose to write 0 plus 0 0 0. I just cancelled off. Now from this, okay, if you don't want to cancel also, no issues. Okay, if you want to relate displacements, first we will talk of relation between displacements. Okay, so if you are relating the displacements, what is the relation here is x1 plus 2xp, you send everything to other side, it will remain constant. Delta x1, change in displacement of first one, plus 2 times delta xp is equal to 0. Sending all the terms to one side, it will constant. If you change, if you take the change in position of x is displacement of 1. Okay, change in position of xp, 2 times delta xp is change in displacement of pulley. Okay, so delta will indicate change, this will indicate displacement in 1, this will indicate displacement in pulley, that is of your choice. Okay, if you take small displacements, dx1 plus 2 times dxp. Okay, so this I don't need to elaborate further. Okay, those who want to copy, you have to pause the video clip, draw the diagram very carefully, and you have to write this information. Okay, right? Do not get confused. This is x1 is what? Distance from the ceiling to this point. Okay, delta x1 is what? In some small amount of time, how much is the change in position of x? Okay, right? Now, people will get confused with the signs. How is that? I will tell you. Okay, so I will erase this point. Okay, so hope you have paused the video clip and copied this stuff down. So 2 times xp is constant. This much is, this step is important. Now observe carefully. You differentiate dx1 by dt. Okay, now many times students will get confused with the signs. Okay, many times students will get confused with the signs. Okay, some people will write okay. Next, if you differentiate, they will write v1 plus 2vp is equal to 0. Some people will write. Some people will write v1 minus 2vp is equal to 0. Both are possible. But in this case, what is happening? This is the answer when it is, when this is the answer. When this is the answer, I will tell you. Okay, when to write this answer, when to write this answer, I will tell you. That depends actually on the assumptions that you take. What are the assumptions? I will tell you. Okay, so you will get confused. Many students will get confused here. Please do remember. Okay, now let us say you know the direction in which body is moving. Okay, let us say you know the direction in which body is moving. Then you have to go for this method. Minus plus sign will come. If you do not know the direction, this will come. So I will talk about it now. So I will erase this. So what did I get? x1 plus 2xp is equal to constant. Okay, so now x1 plus 2xp is equal to constant is what I got. Okay, now I will write clearly. If we don't know the direction, if we don't know the direction of how bodies move, if we know the direction, if we know the direction of how bodies move, okay, I will tell you. So if we know that, okay, if we have decided how body is moving, then increasing distance you have to keep positive, decreasing distance negative. Okay, increasing distance you have to take positive, decreasing distance you have to take negative if you know how bodies move. Okay, so if I say that if m1 is heavier, obviously m1 comes down, m2 goes up. Getting my point? If we know or we are deciding, if there are only 2, then it is easy. But let us say if I have 5 pulleys, then will this work? You cannot say what is moving up, you cannot say what is moving downwards. You will assume that everything is going downwards and you will do the calculation, and even in the free body diagram you will assume acceleration of these things are downwards, and then you will write the equation, and in the answer you will get for one answer positive and one answer negative. Positive answer indicates that your assumed direction and magnitude is correct. Negative will indicate magnitude is correct but direction is reverse. Either you leave it to match or you decide what is happening. Okay, at this step you have to either follow this or this, do not follow both. Okay, so now what will I do is, I am assuming x1 and x2 both will increase. That means what is happening? x1 is coming down, xp, okay, not x, x2, it is xp. xp also it is increasing. So this is also coming downwards, I am assuming, because I do not know. Okay, in this case you only have two pulleys. We obviously know that one goes down, other comes up. But in general, when 10 pulleys are there, you do not know. When 10 pulleys and 10 blocks are there, you do not know what is coming downwards and what is going upwards. So you just assume a fixed direction. So assume that all are going downwards only. Even in free body diagram, you assume it is downwards. Okay, so bodies are accelerating downwards only. Maths will take care of the rest. So if you take this from here, dx1 by dt plus 2 times, or you can write 2 times, if you differentiate this, 2 times x pulley by dt, this is equal to derivative of constant is 0. Okay, now x1 is increasing, so keep plus v1. xp is also increasing, so plus 2 times vp is equal to 0. v1 if you differentiate, you will get a1 plus 2 times acceleration of pulley is equal to 0. Now observe carefully. If v1 is positive, obviously vp is negative. If vp is positive, v1 will become negative from maths. But because you do not know initially, you just assumed it. Even in free body diagram, you will assume this is coming downwards, this is also coming downwards, and you will write the equations accordingly. Okay, and after doing the complete math, you will get finally v1 value or a1 value and a2 value, some value. So that value, one will be positive and other will be negative. If m1 is greater, automatically if you do follow these steps and do the simplification, you will get m1 if it is greater, you will get a1 positive and ap negative. Okay, you leave it to maths, or else you decide. Okay, I am deciding here, m1 is down, x1 is down means it is going downwards, x pulley is up. In this case, what will be my answer be? dx1 by dt plus 2 times dxp by dt is equal to 0 till here it is fine. But for this, if I keep plus v1 plus, for this I have to keep 2 times minus vp is equal to 0 because xp is decreasing. Okay, if you are getting confused, if you watched my kinematics videos, you will write for acceleration dv by dt, for deceleration minus dv by dt is your deceleration, still it is a only. But if v is increasing, this a plus a. If v is decreasing, still if you want to write dv by dt, this minus n, if you take it to other side, it will become minus a. If v is decreasing, you either keep minus sign, or else if you want to keep dv by dt, this is minus a, this is deceleration indirectly. This is acceleration. dv by dt, if it is positive acceleration, obviously if v increases, a will also increase. If v is decreasing, a will become negative. Okay, so now here according to this, v1 is equal to 2 times. Alright, so now there was some malfunctioning in the recording, so I will just put the remaining part. Now till the previous part that was explained, what is happening is, we have got that this part, acceleration of 1 is equal to 2 times acceleration of pulley, velocity of 1 is equal to 2 times velocity of pulley. This part it got disconnected. So this I have explained. Now this is only connecting x1 and xp. Now if you take the wide string, your length of second string is also constant. So doing that, your x2 minus xp will remain constant. Differentiate it, you will get velocity. You differentiate it, once again you will have acceleration. Now we know that acceleration of 2 is equal to acceleration of pulley. So I can replace this. If a direction is unknown, a1 is equal to minus 2 times ap, but ap is equal to a2, so a1 is equal to minus 2 times a2, and here also ap is equal to at. If I substitute, you will get a2 is equal to a1 by a2. Okay, right? So a1 is 2 times a2. Now commonly in the questions, what is that you are going to see is okay, two pulley systems. So remember that, okay, for BPC people, they will directly give you this part. BPC and some lower than mains level teachers, what they will do is, they will give this result. If this block comes down by x, the bodies connected to this pulley will move by 2x. How did you get this? From this relation. Or if this is having velocity v, they will say this will have 2v. If this is having acceleration a, they will say connected bodies will have double acceleration. Or else what they will do is, if this block is having x, they will say half of this. Okay, bottom part is half of single part, double part. Okay, so remember this. If this comes down by x by 2, each part of this will move by a distance of x. Or if this comes down by x, each part of this will move double 2x. Okay, how means like this. Okay, now what is it you are supposed to do? You are supposed to take this and substitute back in the problems to give the answer. Okay, so now this method, okay, it is lengthy, right? So I need to do this much calculation just to get relation between x1 and x2. Now, is it a good approach if somebody takes this much time just to give relation between these two values? Okay, so to overcome this problem, okay, there is a shortcut that was developed, okay, in the books. Okay, some teachers claim that they have done it. Please don't believe it. It was long before. Okay, so especially Narayana and Chaitanya people, some teachers try to fool the students that they have invented this method. Okay, so some scientists have invented it. Definitely that would be the case. Okay, not, somebody, but definitely not normal people, those who are teaching for you. Okay, so some good experts might have developed it. So they say that they have invented it. Nobody. Okay, so it was long before this method, second method was invented. Okay, so your second method you have to follow to do the questions. That is easier part. Okay, so that part will start in the next lecture. Okay, this will stop here. We will use these two relations in free body diagram and then we will do the calculations. Okay, right? Hope you have understood what I have explained and there are no doubts. Okay, don't worry. In constraint relations, I will upload another separate video lecture only for problems. How many problems you do, that much clarity you will get it. Okay, so we will stop this lecture with this part. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.